Most fat burners don't fail because they're useless, they fail because people don't understand what they actually do. There's a big difference between something that stimulates your body temporarily and something that supports how your body works over time. And if you mix those up, you can end up relying on the wrong tool for the wrong reason. This is where a lot of confusion starts. Many people assume all fat burners work the same way. You take a pill, your body burns more calories and fat loss becomes easier. But in reality, fat burners fall into two very different categories: stimulant-based and natural, non-stimulant support. The problem is not choosing one over the other. The problem is expecting both to deliver the same type of result. Stimulant fat burners usually rely on ingredients that increase alertness and temporarily raise energy levels. This can include compounds similar to caffeine that make you feel more active, more focused, and sometimes less hungry. Because of that, people often feel like something is working right away. But that feeling can be misleading. What's happening is not necessarily increased fat loss. It's a short-term boost in energy output and sometimes appetite suppression. If that extra energy leads to more movement or better workouts, it can help. But if the rest of your routine doesn't support it, the effect is limited. On the other side, natural fat burners tend to focus on supporting the body's internal processes. Instead of forcing stimulation, they may help regulate things like digestion, blood sugar response, or metabolic consistency. These changes are usually more subtle and take longer to notice. That's where most people lose patience. They try a natural approach, don't feel an immediate shift, and assume it's not working. Then they switch to stimulants, feel the difference quickly, and believe that's the better option. But what they're actually comparing is sensation, not effectiveness. And those are not the same thing. To understand how to use either approach correctly, you need to look at the role each one plays. Stimulants are like a temporary push. They can help increase activity levels, improve focus, and make it easier to stay engaged in a workout or routine. But they don't build structure. They don't fix inconsistent habits. And over time, your body can adapt, reducing the effect. Natural support works differently. It doesn't push, it stabilizes. It helps create an environment where your body can function more efficiently. This includes things like maintaining steady energy levels, supporting digestion, and avoiding large fluctuations that lead to overeating or fatigue. But here's the key point most people miss. Neither of these approaches replaces the basics. If your routine is inconsistent, if your meals are unstructured, or if your activity levels change from day to day, no fat burner will compensate for that. Stimulants might temporarily mask the issue, and natural options might support better balance, but neither one solves the core problem. That's why results often feel unpredictable. Some days things seem to work. Other days nothing changes. And it creates the impression that the product is unreliable, when in reality the system around it is unstable. So instead of asking which one is better, a more useful question is, what role does this play in my current routine? If you already have structured, consistent meals, regular activity, stable sleep, then a stimulant might help you increase output during specific periods, like workouts or busy days. But it should be used with awareness, not as a constant dependency. If your routine is still being built, natural support may be more aligned with your needs. It won't create a noticeable spike, but it can help you maintain consistency while you develop better habits. And that consistency is what actually drives fat loss over time. This leads to an important insight. The effectiveness of any fat burner depends less on the product itself and more on how it fits into a structured system. Without that system, stimulants become a short-term boost with diminishing returns, and natural options feel too subtle to matter. But with the right structure, both can have a clear and limited role. One supports output, the other supports stability. When you understand that difference, decision-making becomes simpler. You stop chasing intensity and start focusing on alignment. Because fat loss is not about finding the strongest effect. It's about maintaining the right conditions long enough for results to happen. In practical terms, that means building a routine that doesn't rely on constant stimulation to function. It means knowing when a boost is useful and when it's unnecessary. And it means recognizing that slow, consistent support often outperforms fast, temporary spikes. Most people don't fail because they chose the wrong fat burner. They fail because they expected it to do more than it was designed to do. Once you remove that expectation, everything becomes clearer. You start using tools for their actual purpose, not for what you hope they will fix. And that shift changes how you approach the entire process. If you found this breakdown helpful and want to keep learning how to structure your routine in a more practical way, consider subscribing to the channel. There's also a useful resource in the description that outlines how these approaches fit into a simple daily system, so you can see how to apply this without overcomplicating it.